Hello there, welcome to the shed. I'm your man Andy P, back in the shed. So today we're going to do a little bit of talking about politics and a specific point in history on politics. We are going to start by talking about the Night of the Long Knives. If you're not aware of the Night of the Long Knives, then you could learn something here. Basically, it happened in June 1934 in Germany. Bit of a place full of hate at the time. So, as it goes, the Night of the Long Knives in German history, the purge of the Nazi leaders by Adolf Hitler. On June 30th, 1934, fearing that paramilitary SA become too powerful, Hitler orders his elite SS Guard to murder the organization's leaders, including Ernest Röhm, also killed that night, were hundreds of other perceived opponents of Hitler, because let's not have any opponents, because that might make life a little bit tricky. So the blood purge. By the end of May 1934, Hitler had been Chancellor for 16 months and dictator for 14 under the Enabling Act of March 24th, 1933. But two obstacles to his absolute power remained. First, his old comrade, Ernest Röhm, chief of the staff of the SA, the Sturmabteilung. Apologise for my German. I don't know any. German Assault Division, or brown shirts. Röhm wanted to have his troops incorporated into the new Wehrmacht, which was being prepared to take the place of the Reichswehr. Again, apologise for the German. It's worse than my attempts to mention those mountains. Not very good there. Well, this is going to take it to a new level of bad. But hey, let's carry on. Despite the fact that the conservative-minded generals were resolutely opposed to any such contamination of the army by the SA, Second German Press, Paul von Hindenburg was still alive and in office, and he, if he wished, could have stopped all of Hitler's plans by handing power over to the Reichswehr. Hitler, knowing that military strength was necessary for his foreign policies, yeah, we all know about his foreign policies, that the anti-Gozing the generals could be fatal to him, decided to sacrifice Röhm. So, I don't know if you know anything about Ernest Röhm, but Ernest Röhm at one stage was the leader of the National Socialist Party before Hitler took control. Alleging that Röhm was plotting a purge, Hitler ordered a massacre on the night of June 30th, 1934. Röhm and many more leaders of the SA were shot by members of Heinrich Himmler's SS, the Schutzstaffel, German protective echelon. Some of Hitler's other enemies also murdered, including the last Chancellor of the Weimar Republic, Kurt von Schleiner, Gregor Strasser, and until 1932 had been second only to Hitler in the Nazi Party. Bavarian ex-separatist Gustav von Kahn, conservative critic Eger Jahn, and Catholic professor Erich Klausner, Vice-Chancellor Franz von Papen only narrowly escaped inclusion among the victims. He was dismissed from the Vice-Chancellorship 3 days later on July the 3rd. The generals whose chief spokesman was the Minister of Defense, Werner von Blumberg, were certainly impressed by the efficiency of which Röhm and his SS clique had been eliminated. So we do, there are certain things here. I'm not saying Boris Johnson is about to go out and murder the Labour Party. Don't see that. That's not happening. I'm not in any way saying that that's going to happen in England or Germany. But there is a big rise in the far right and far left who are very extreme members of the planet. They have extremist views. Personally, I'm staying neutral in this. Those of you who know me, they know which side I would go on an election, but that's not the point. I'm not going to give you my allegiances, even though Some of you will already know them, but that's not important. My view is I'm going to go centralist here. Yeah, I'm not going to defend either side, but I'm not going. Sorry, when I say I'm not going to defend either side, yeah, I was totally against. This is wrong. Everything that happened here was wrong. What I mean is currently what's happening, I'm going central. I'm not going to go to the right or to the left. I'm just going to stay central. I'm giving the views of me. There you go. Anyway, so Hitler's coalition of power. So within weeks of Rom's death, Hitler made attempts to settle the question of union with Austria through simple violence. With instructions from Berlin and with active help of the German legislation in Vienna, Austrian Nazis on July the 25th, 1934, tried to take over that country's government by an insurrection push. They murdered Austrian Chancellor Engelbert Doofus. Oh yeah, because this is going to help, isn't it? Obviously, the Austrians also have very German names, so that's going to help here with the pronunciation even more. See, French, yeah, it's not quite so bad. Spanish is a bit harder, but German is, at least it's not Dutch. So far, there's no Dutch names. I don't have to do that rolling R thing, which I can't do. If that happens, you might get a load of phlegm all over the screen. Apologies now. Anyway, so the murder of Austrian Chancellor Engelbert Doofus in his chancery. But the push failed in its main purpose. The news of it was received in condemnation and discussed in other European capitals, but the shock was greatest in Rome. Italian dictator Benito Mussolini sent 4 armed divisions up the Brema Pass and to the Caffarian frontier, and the Italian press vehemently denounced German imperialism and bad faith. Hitler, however, disclaimed all responsibility for the coup, sent a telegram of condolence to Australian press. William Macallas and recalled his ministers from Vienna. The next German minister there was Papen, with the mission of steering Austro-German relations into a friendly and normal channel again. Soon after arriving in Vienna, he told the US minister George S. Oh my God, it's a bloody American now, and I can't even pronounce his last name. Messerschmitt, that all the southeastern Europe to the borders of Turkey was Germans' natural hinterland, and that achieving control of Austria was to be the first step in that direction. Hindenburg died on the 2nd of August 1934. Thereupon, German generals agreed to the merging of the office of President to the Reich and the supreme head of the armed forces with that of Chancellor in Hitler's person. The consolidation of power that had begun barely a month before with the purge of Rome and the SA was complete. The Third Reich, with henceforth a totalitarian structure with one man as head of state, commander-in-chief and leader of the only political party. Worries our history has a history of repeating itself looking back at recent elections. So both, well, I say both, there's actually 3 here, 2015, 2017 and 2019. Social media's hate towards parties which have different beliefs to your own, whether you had the right slamming Labour's policies and beliefs, and to the left they were slamming the Tories equally, and some of the hate given towards some of the politicians was downright disgusting. Some of the abuse that certain members of certain parties got were uncalled for, and a lot of it was down to that politics, but there were certain members who were abused because of their racial colours. Anything I did here, apologise for now, because it was wrong. You know, you can't go around slagging off someone because, oh, I believe this party should be in power because of this. You know, whichever party it is, when you actually break down the beliefs of the parties, the central left and the central right, they're not a million miles apart, really, are they? So if the other parties were to have got in, would we have seen a massive difference? Probably not really. But if in 2015 it hadn't been the Conservatives to have won, Brexit probably would never have happened. That's a story for another day. So also when you look in the United States, now that they've got a proper president in Joe Biden, you don't really hear much about what's going on in America. But when it was Donald Trump, well, tweeting this, tweeting that, anyone was to slam him and say, no, this is rubbish, that was fake news. Always had that as his defense. Oh yeah, people are putting out fake news about me, this, that, and the other. Were they really fake, Donald? So when you look at our last election, so in 2019 we had the general election, a long time ago now, we've had COVID and, but that was pre-COVID. So you had our main parties in it. SNP, obviously, in Scotland, had done amazingly, and they increased their overall power in Scotland. Obviously, they've got internal dilemmas at the moment, so that could potentially weaken them in May. We will see. But the claim that, oh yeah, we ran in power, we totally dominated, and now it's all about the Conservatives, it's all about Brexit. It wasn't though, was it? Because when you actually look at the people that voted, it was, what was it, 52 to 54 for Brexit? Well, it was basically the same in this election, but the difference was in Brexit it was leave or stay, where with the last election it was a mixture of parties. So with the Remainers, they basically went for the parties from the left, so the likes of the Labour Party, the Liberal Democrats, and the Scottish National Party, plus a few other minor parties here or there. And then for the Brexit parties, you had obviously the Conservatives who won power and that, but they were also helped by the Brexit Party and UKIP by saying, you know what, we'll let you take power, but make sure you get Brexit done. Then obviously the Conservatives get a massive, massive win with a bit of help. But this is how it really works, was the powers of the right, they were like, yeah, let's make sure that Brexit happens. Let's get people to vote for one party, which they did. Whereas on the other side, they're like, no, we're not going to support him because we don't like his policies, his worldviews. And to be fair, I agree. but again, might be showing my political alliance there. But, people didn't necessarily trust the leaders of the left central parties in the same way. Obviously, Nicola Sturgeon done amazingly, and credit to her and her party. But the problem is for them, okay, you take Scotland, but what you've now done by taking Scotland is you've lessened the chance of the national parties, so Labour, Liberal Democrats, of actually gaining power. There was a slight time when I thought, you know what, the Liberal Democrats could do really well here. One of my more amused moments of the election night was when Nicola Sturgeon was going, yeah, when Jo Swinton lost power. I thought that was quite amusing. It's probably the funniest thing I've ever seen her do. But what we need to do then, people, is let's make sure that across Europe, the night of the long night never ever happens again. We do not want to go back to the hate of the 1930s. There's no reason for it. Live and let live. If people have a different belief, and a different view of the world to you, well, that's not a bad thing. Everyone is entitled to their views as long as our country still, we have the rights that we have. And whether you like it or not, we don't want it so that we have one party staying in power for too long. It's a good thing that every now and again someone else gets a go, because you don't want your governments getting too comfy. You don't want them getting their feet underneath for too long and becoming too powerful. So let's think about that when it comes to the next election. Is the party you're voting for really the best one for your country, or would another party do better? I know this is a subject which will have a lot of, well, I don't agree with you there. So and so is much better than so and so, and that's fine. Okay, that's your views, and it's great that everyone has a view. Like I say, I've tried my best to stay quite central, neutral in this. Those of you who know me, they know I will generally go one way. I'm not going to show me colours on this video, because it's not my time to say, oh yeah, vote for so-and-so because that party is amazing. To be fair, I don't think any party is amazing. I don't think any party has ever really 100% delivered on what they said. Yeah, we got Brexit done. If, from the Tories' point of view, they did get Brexit done. But I do think COVID helped a lot, didn't it? Because it took our minds a lot of the time off of Brexit, and Brexit really disappeared during COVID. That was all the news was. And then in late October, November last year, oh yeah, Brexit's happening, isn't it? Oh man, forgot all about that. Well, it happened, and now we are away from the EU. From a plus point, mind you, there is a plus point to it. We are the first country in the world, we being the UK. Sorry, I know I am an international superstar and I do get people from all around the world viewing this absolute dribble. But, going against what I said earlier, I'm now going to go very nationalist. As a nation, we were the first to agree to have these vaccines. And we're doing really well now. We've had getting on for 25 million vaccinations done. Good news is my wife is getting her vaccine next week, which is a big yes from me. She's getting to an age where she can now qualify for that vaccine, but we won't mention that. I've already had mine, but that's because of my underlying health conditions. That's right, people. I'm awesome, and it's a condition. But yeah, so we need, whatever happens, whatever your views, we need as a country, as a planet, to come together and sort of get along, because it doesn't matter what religious beliefs you have. If you want to believe in your God, then believe in your God or whatever. That's fine. Don't push it on everyone else. Enjoy it for what it is. Even if you don't agree with them, let them have it. How is it hurting you? And let's not persecute any religious group ever again. That would be amazing. If the Jews want to believe in what the Jews want to believe in, that's fine. There's no reason for us to murder them in gas chambers and whatever, because that's not on. Anyway, I've managed to keep this to under 20 minutes now. If I stop now, which I'm going to, hope you all have a good day wherever you are. Please do like, share. I know there's going to be lots of opinions if you do bother watching this video, which would be amazing. And if you have watched to the end, see ya, pals.